So let's have a quick recap what we have discussed in the last session. In the last session, we have discussed about how we can create our Azure account. We have seen the marketplace and we have seen our subscriptions. And then we had start discussion about virtual machine. We didn't start about this practicals about virtual machines. So in today's session, we'll learn about how we can create our Windows virtual machine. But before starting of this particular topic, any question anyone have, whatever we have discussed, you can please raise your hand. Yes, Maurice, you can unmute.
Yes, sorry, I'm in Canada. I had a mix-up with the time, so I missed the class yesterday. I'm just wondering if there are resources for me to catch up.
I just want to know, Maurice, are you in the WhatsApp group of Azure Batch 135?
Yes, the link I had, that's why I sent a message this afternoon, because I kind of locked into the Python group, so I had a mixed up there. Yeah, but it's clear now.
So don't worry, after this session, I'll inform my team. They'll reach again, they will share the recording of the yesterday's session. So you can watch that recording.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just make sure you are in the Azure Batch 135 in WhatsApp group. I'll again share it. If you are not, you can please check and join.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Murugesh, you can unmute.
Yeah, good morning, Ankit.
Good morning.
I have one small query regarding the tenant. Tenant, we will call it is like our user ID also, or how?
No, we can also call it primary domain.
Sorry?
We can also call it primary domain.
Okay. Fine.
Tenant is also called as primary domain. Not
Okay,
user
only
ID.
domain or any other technical word also will be using?
No, only primary domain.
Okay. Fine, thanks.
Anyone have any more questions? Yes, we can unmute all again. Yes, you can ask your question.
Okay, so so I also missed the beginning of yesterday's session. So I also like to have...
I'll inform my team. They'll again share the recording of yesterday's session in the WhatsApp group. So please join the WhatsApp group using the link which I have shared in the chat box.
Okay. Thank you.
So now let me log into my account first. So we need to learn about how we can create a virtual machine. In previous session, we have already discussed it. What is virtual machine? Now, to create virtual machine, we need to go to a service called virtual machine. In my account, if you see here, you are already able to see virtual machine. But might be in your account, you are not able to see. So here we have in the top search option. When I just search VIR, here we are able to see. Click on that. Create Azure virtual machine. Now, when I click on create, if you see here by default, they are picking my subscription, the subscription name which I have This is my subscription name, Azure_subscription. Subscription name can be any name. We can change our name also of our subscription. If you want to change, that is also possible. So as per my account, subscription name is Azure_subscription. Next, here we need to select the source or we need to create source. We don't have any resource group because we didn't create any resource group till now. Now, it means to create a virtual machine. The first thing what we need to create a resource. Now, what is resource group? Resource group is a container that holds all Azure resources whichever we need to create. In simple language, if I'm saying resource group is like a folder. Under this particular folder, we can put all our resources, whichever we want to. Is it mandatory to create resource group? Yes, it is mandatory. So whatever the things we require to create virtual machines, all the things are getting stored under this resource group. If I want, I can click on create new here. I can create from here also. This is one option. Another option is I can search resource group, or here in navigate option, you will find resource group. Click on. So here also I can create a source. Enter the name of your resource group. Is there any mandatory name or is there any specific name we need to give to resource group? No. You can use any name for this resource group. So I'm giving the name as group-1. Region. Central India. Click on review plus create. If you see here in the top, we are getting as validation passed. Whenever we are going to create anything, Azure is going to do validation. Whatever the details we have given, that is correct or not. If you are getting as validation pass, then in the end, we can click on create. Otherwise, we are not able to create that particular resource. Not just for resource group, for everything, they are validated. Done. Our resource group is ready. And here on the right hand side top, we got a notification also from itself. Done. Our resource group is ready under our subscription. Now again, I'm going to virtual machines. Create. And now if you see, I'm able to select my virtual machine. We are able to select our resource group to create our virtual machine. Any question anyone have regarding resource group? Okay. Now we'll discuss some points about the resource. Resources can only exist in our resource. The resources, whichever we are going to create, you can't create outside of your resource group. It is mandatory to create under your resource. Resource group cannot be renamed. Means once you give the name, it is impossible to change the name of your source. Third point, groups can have resources of many different types, services. You can create different type of resources in Azure, and those all we can store in our source. Even to create our virtual machine, system is going to create 6 resources total, including virtual machine. So we can create different Azure services, and all those services we can put under our resource. One more important point, and that can be your interview question. Resources, groups can have resources from many different regions also. Now, what does this particular point? Let me explain. The resource group which we have created in which particular region? We have created in Central India. Now, can I create a virtual machine in any other region? Resource group I have created in Central India, but virtual machine I need to create in any other region. Here also we have it. Can I select? Yes, I can select. Can be possible that our resource group is in another region and our resource is in another region. It is possible, but we are not doing this particular thing in real time also. Even while doing practice also, we are not doing this. If you do this thing in that particular case, we'll find some latency issues. But it is possible. So might be they can ask you this question in the interview. So we have created our source group also. Now we need to continue with our virtual. But before continuing of a virtual machine, any question anyone have? Please let me know. Yes, Narendra.
Yeah, what is the difference between the resource group and the VM?
Sorry?
What is the difference between the VM and the resource group?
The source group is like a folder to us, where I'm going to put my virtual machine. Like if I talk about, I have this particular folder, batch 135. Okay, let me open another folder. I'll open batch 131 folder. Under this particular folder, you can see I have put different type of files. Narendra.
Yeah.
I have one text file, I have one temp file, PPK file. These are applications. So like this, under our resource group, we can store our resources. Okay, and there is no
VM is a machine
link.
and these are the groups.
Virtual machines, or to create virtual machine, whatever the resources we require, all the things are getting stored under our resource group, which we are going to select while creating our machine. Okay.
No, I'm not correctly clear. See, virtual machine is it's a system. So where we are creating the folders.
Virtual machine, we can call it a resource. We can also call it a resource.
Okay.
Let's say example, to create virtual machine, you need few more things. When we are creating virtual machine, there's not just one thing is going to be created. Your public IP is also going to create. And previous session we have discussed it. We need hard disk also. The system is going to create that hard disk also. I need IP address also.
Yeah.
So all those things where it is getting stored, all the things are getting stored in our resource group. So if you just wait for a few more minutes, you will see when I'm going to create this virtual machine, you will see all those things in our resource. So resource group is like a container to us. Under that, we are storing all our resources, whichever we are creating in our Azure account.
Okay.
Okay.
Means we can think like it's an I mean like even OS is also into that resource group.
You will see, I'll show you that also. So it will be easy for you to understand when I'm going to practically show you that.
Okay, you're telling that if there is an image of OS is also into the part of resource group.
That's why I'm saying you're not saying correct. That's why I'm saying just wait for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I'll practically show you that, then you can raise your hand and ask your doubt at that time. Okay. When you see practical. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to create a virtual machine. So give the name of our virtual machine. I'm giving the name as VM. Then I set 130. Next step. Next step is we need to select our operating system. So scroll down. If you see here, system is automatically selecting a region here. And if you scroll down here, we have some more options. Don't worry about these options. Right now, we are not going to discuss about this option. We'll discuss later. Because right now, we just need to focus only on mandatory things. So wherever you find the star, only those fields are mandatory. So first two fields are mandatory, where we have given the name and we have selected our region. Scroll down. Here we have an option of image. In our normal language, we all are calling as operating system. In normal language, we are calling as operating system. But in Azure, it is called as image. You need to remember these terminologies, which I'm going to use from today. In normal language, we call it operating system, but in Azure, it is called as. So here I need to select an image, and which image I'm going to select? Windows one, because we are creating which machine? Windows machine. So here it is showing us Windows Server 2019. Selected. Scroll down. So we have selected our operating system as Windows. Next step, we need to select CPU and RAM. Let's take example. My requirement is I just need one CPU and 1 GB of RAM. I just need one CPU and 1 GB of RAM. So what we need to do for this thing? We need to select the size of our machine. Based on the sizes, whichever we are getting it from Azure, based on that, we'll get that size to our machine, which means we'll get CPU and RAM to our machine. If you remember in previous session, I have shown you about free tier details. See. See, here it is mentioned. 7 we have discussed is 750 hour per month. But here we are getting something called B1S also. What is this B1S? B1S is the size which is used for free tier. If you are going to use size any other than B1S, you will get a bill for it. So you need to use a size called B1S here. And if you see here in my account, by default, they have selected a size as B1S. But might be in your account, you're selecting something else. So you can click on see all sizes. Here you will see the all sizes, whichever we are getting under our issue. And here we are getting the size B1S, which we need to select. And under this, we are getting it 1 CPU and 1 GB of. And if you see here on right hand side, something is mentioned as 4 here. What is it? Temporary storage. Based on the size which we are selecting here, Azure is giving us some 4 GB of temporary storage to us. Why we are getting the temporary storage? I'll show you in upcoming session when we are going to connect to this particular sheet. So I'm going to click on. So we have selected our CPU and RAM with the help of size option. Now here we need to give our username and password. Now, for use password, we need to follow these rules. Out of these 4 following things, we need to give at least 3. 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase, 1 number, and 1 special print. And your password must be 12 or between 12 and 123 characters long. Your password needs to. Username can be any name you can give to connect to your particular machine. So I'm giving the username as Azure. So here is my username. Now I need to give the password. So here I'm entering the password. So we have entered our password. Next step. Next step is we need to enable RDP port. What is this RDP? Just creating a virtual machine, our work is not going to complete. What we need to do, we need to connect to this particular virtual machine. And to connect to this particular virtual machine, it is mandatory to enable a port number called RDP. Without enabling of this particular port number, it is impossible to connect to our Windows machine. So for Windows, mandatory port is RDP port. The same way in our upcoming session, when we learn about Linux machine, at that time we need to enable SSH. Scroll down. If you see here, by default, Azure is enabling that particular port number RDP. So based on the image, they are automatically enabling our port number, the one which we require to create our virtual. Anyone in the chat box can let me know the number of RDP port number. Anyone knows the number? Correct. So I got few answers. All are correct. The correct answer is 3389. So every port is having its one number, and for RDP we have a port number called 33. And click on next disk. So here system is creating our OS disk here. OS disk means like a C drive they are going to create. And whenever we are creating Windows machine, by default, they are giving us 127 GB hard disk. They are giving us. Means they are giving us OS disk. OS disk we can call it as normal language we are calling C drive. So that is OS disk, which system is automatically going to create once we are creating our. And if you see here in the top, we have more tabs here. Networking, management, monitoring, advanced tags. We'll discuss about these tags in our upcoming session, these options whichever we. It's not possible to teach you all those things in one single session. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on next. Now you can see here, they are validating them. Validation. If your validation is getting failed, it means you have given some wrong information. So you just need to recheck and again come to review plus create. If your validation is passed, then you can create your next step. So we have created our virtual machine. If you see here, when I'm creating my virtual machine, with virtual machine system is automatically creating some more resources. This is what I have told you earlier. System is creating NSG, virtual network, IP address, network interface. Now they are creating virtual machines. So all those things, whichever we require to create a virtual machine, system is creating. So take some time to create our virtual machine. It is showing us as deployment is the process. And when this deployment is going to complete, on right hand side, we'll get a notification also. So it is taking some. Any question anyone have now? Please let me know. Yes, Shivaraman, you can.
Yeah. Right. So when you're choosing the image, so the default options are provided in the Azure. We can go with that is the image only we can able to go with, or in case if I have any custom image like in my organizations, can able to upload.
We can create our own. We can't upload. We can create our own image in Azure also. How to do that, we'll learn in upcoming session.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Asif.
Yeah. For For how many years experience we need to keep if we want to get calls for Azure?
Depend on the requirement to recover what the client requirement. Might be they have a fresher requirement, might be they have a 2 years of requirement. So
Okay.
for the jobs, whichever you're going to apply, depend on their requirement, you will get a call.
Okay. Like you said, it is related, like you will be covering storage service as well in this
You can put
104.
to 2.5 years of experience you can put.
Okay. So you are covering the storage service as well in this.
We have a storage few service services which we are going to cover in this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I'm going to open my resource group also. So go to resource group. Here I'm able to see our resource group, the one which we have created. And you can see here how many records it is showing us. 6 records. Did we create these records? No, we have just created a virtual machine. But for virtual machine, we need some other things also. That is why all those things, whichever we require to create our virtual machine, all the things system is putting under our resource. Yes, Narendra, you can unmute now.
Where is the license?
We don't need
I
to
cannot
take,
see
we
any
don't need to
license.
worry about licensing part, Narendra. That is taken care by the cloud platforms.
Okay, I mean like in the real time also the same way.
No, in real time also they are going to take care. But if you have a license, you can provide your licensing details to Azure, so you can save a cost of 49%.
Okay, so I cannot able to see here there is a VM and public address and all, but there is no option called license actually. That is the reason I'm asking.
That Narendra, I already told you that you don't need to worry about licensing one. In real time, if you have, you need to provide your licensing detail to Azure.
Okay, I'm asking about the option itself. I'm not asking about that.
We are not having any option here.
Okay.
We just need to provide those details to Azure. And right now, you will not see that. You will get that option when you're creating your virtual machine by using image. At that time, you're getting an option. But not right now, we don't have any option. You will see that option once you're creating your virtual machine by using your own image. In the below, you will see that. But for normal machines, you're not getting it. But that's why you need to provide your details with Azure team. So with the help of this one, they are going to apply those details under your subscription. So you can save the money with 49%.
Okay.
Okay. And I think your doubt is clear about the one which you're asking me earlier, that image and all those things.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I told you just wait for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Anyone have any more questions? Okay. Now, is our work is completed? No. What we need to do after creation of this particular machine, we need to connect to this particular machine. And connect to this particular machine, I need to go to that particular. So go to virtual machine. Here is our virtual machine. Under this resource group, under this particular location, under this particular subscription. Click on the name of your virtual machine. On the right hand side, if you see here, we are able to see our public IP. So I'm noting down this public IP here. What we need to do with this public IP is used to connect to our machine. And to connect to this particular machine in your Windows machine, by default, you have one software installed called Remote Desktop. So click on that particular one. get open. Now in the computer option, please enter your public IP, the IP address which we have here. Click on show options, enter your username, click on connect, again click on connect, enter a password. Yes. And you can see here, we are able to connect to our Windows virtual machine. Now, Windows machine will take some time to get load. Till the time it is loading, I'll show you some more things. If you see on the left-hand side here, we have an option of disk. Here you can see your OS disk. See, 127 GB here. Click on size. Here you are able to see all the sizes whichever we have here. But if you click on overview, here you can see your size, the one which we have selected, the operating system, the image, we are able to see. This select process. Yes, Ahmed, you can unmute.
Actually, where we got this IP address?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question?
Where we got this IP address?
We have got the IP address. You need to open your virtual machine. I will show you again. Go to virtual machine service. Click on the name of your virtual machine. And here you are able to see. You can see from here also, or if you just go to virtual machine, on right hand side also, you can see the IP address of the machine. Okay. Okay, let me just. I'm going to go to C drive now. Just PC. Go there. If you see in this PC, here we are getting C drive. OS disk. With OS disk, here you are able to see some temporary storage also here. What is it size? 3.99 GB. 4 GB we are getting it. The one we have discussed it. How we are getting this temporary storage? Because of the size which we have selected while creating our virtual machine. And we have selected which particular size? V1S. The storage we are getting, the temporary storage, it is because of that particular size V1S. Why they are providing this temporary storage? Because whenever we are using our machine, system is creating some cache, system is creating. So where those caches are getting stored, it is going to store here. So they are not going to use our main storage. They will use this particular temporary storage. That is why they are giving this particular temporary storage to us. And it is clearly mentioned by the Azure. If you open that particular temporary storage, there is one notepad file is there, text file. Data loss warning readme. See this. It is clearly mentioned from their side, don't store your data in this temporary storage. Because it is impossible to recover if you lose your data. That is why they have clearly mentioned, don't store your. This is just a temporary storage location we have. Based on the size, whichever you are going to select, with the help of this one, you are getting it even more temporary storage also. But just for your practice purpose, use only B1S. If you are going to select any other type, you will get double because B1S is coming under your free. Yes, Murgishan, you can unmute yourself. Any question anyone have regarding this, please raise your hand.
Yeah, Ankit, thanks. Ankit, just would like to know about this one. See, for example, I may be your client. I'm looking for one VM. You have focus on this.
Sorry, Murgishan, your voice is not clear. Can you please repeat again?
Okay, you can consider myself as your client. You have focus on the VM. I need to connect this VM with our internal IP.
So you need to, you want to connect this particular virtual machine with internal IPs.
Yeah, organization IPs. So that connectivity, how we can enable it?
Sorry?
That connectivity, how we can enable it?
By using public IP, because outside of Azure, if you want to connect, you need to use public IPs.
No. I want to connect this VM with our local IP, organization IP.
So you need to use public IP. That's what I'm saying.
A public IP, fine. Because see, I might have hosted some applications in the Azure VM. So which we need to interact with my local on-premises network, right? So that network connectivity, how we can enable?
We don't have any option for this one right now. You need to use VPN options for that. So right now we are just starting investigation. Everything I already told, not possible to teach everything on one single day. You will understand those things in upcoming session when you go with VPN also.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Fine, thanks.
Yes, Asim.
Yeah, you told BS1 is a free service, but while creating virtual machine and resource group, I observed some charges there.
It is mentioned the charge, but they are not going to charge you anything. Because it might be you have seen the charges part, but it might be you didn't see the free or tier option which here I have shown you.
Okay, so they won't charge anything.
No.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, when you create like a virtual machine, so we need to connect the RDP, right? Remote desktop connection, right? So
correct.
the temporary space means the temporary drive, 4 GB something, that is a default they provided as a
Default they are providing because of the size which we have selected as B1S. It's because
fine,
of this particular size.
Okay, yeah, that should be created on the remote desktop, like allocated machine, right? Not like
Automatically we are getting that particular one, and it is automatically get mounted also with our machine.
No, is that allowed to copy our own files in that drive?
You want to store, you can store, but if anything that happen, it's not possible to recover.
It's not possible to recover.
It is clearly mentioned by the Azure.
No, that is only. See how it is linked RDP to our local machine. Is any connection happened?
It is not linked to our local machine. It is under virtual machine, Sam.
No. See, when you connect RDP, it's like a virtual machine only, right? But whenever we created there, how come it come into our local machine, the drive?
This drive can't come into our local machine. It is under virtual machine, Sam.
Oh, it's under virtual machine. But you are showing
under virtual machine.
Drive? No, you are showing our local drive, C drive.
No, I'm not showing my local drive. I'm showing the under virtual machine. I'm under virtual machine. See here.
This Windows C is a virtual machine?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm under a virtual machine right now.
Server manager dashboard. Okay.
Server look in your normal Windows, you don't have server manager. Server manager, which you are able to see in the backend here, it is only in Windows server machines.
Okay, I got it. Sorry. I missed it.
This is 127 GB and this is 3.99. If I'm showing you in my laptop,
Yeah, that's what I
this
got.
PC, this is what we have, 224 GB and 930 GB.
Yeah. Yes, now clear. Yes, got it. Thank you.
Yes, Narendra.
Yeah, in one resource group, multiple VMs can be created.
There is no
Am I
limit.
right?
There is no
Sorry?
limit. You are 100% correct.
It is correct, right?
There is no limit. You can store
Okay.
n number of virtual machines.
In one resource group.
Yes, correct.
Okay, it may be different flavors.
Yes, you can store a Windows one also. You can store a Linux one also.
Okay.
That is possible.
How we can connect, I mean, like through public IPs only. For every VM, we need to give, I mean, like automatically created a public IP.
Yes, public IP is automatically creating, but in our upcoming session, I'm going to show which option is by default enabled by the system. Because of that, we are getting the public IP. You will understand a particular option in upcoming session because Narendra, in upcoming session in real time, we need to create few machines without public IP also. The one which is used only internally in our organization. So
Okay.
those machines we need to create as private machines also.
That's what.
Okay.
And one more thing, what do you mean by this subscription? I mean, like, where we are using this name frequently called as subscription.
Subscription is
where
you are getting because of this, you are getting a billing.
Okay, just because of the subscription, I mean, like because of the billing purpose only, you're telling that subscription or
Subscription is for use for our billing purpose, and with under our subscription, we are going to create all our resources. First thing we need if you might be just a minute. Let me show you the diagram again, the one which we have discussed yesterday.
Okay. I mean, like the subscription name should be the same then.
It can be any name. You want to change the name, you can change also. By default, you are right now you are getting a free trial. If you want to change the name of the subscription, you can change also. Don't worry about subscription name.
No,
It can be any name also.
Okay. I'm thinking that, see, if there is you have buyed, Ankit have buyed. So all Ankit name should be, I mean, like on the same group, right? See, if suppose an IBM company buyed some subscriptions. So how they are defining? So it should be on the same name, right? How Azure guys can know that this belongs to the same company or same
even in real time, what happens is client can buy the subscription by paying advance money. So if they pay advance money, they can save a cost of near about 64% cost they can save. And whenever we are getting a subscription, for every subscription, we are getting one subscription ID also. Here is it, my subscription ID.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like for every resource group, the subscription name. I mean, like all the subscription names should be same. As I'm thinking, like I have seen.
No, let's say example, Narendra, you have multiple subscriptions.
Yeah.
Okay. One resource group you can create in one subscription also. Other resource group you can create another subscription also.
Okay.
It can be possible.
So, I mean, like, see, we are logging in from the same ID, right? As of now. But if in a company there are different logins,
that is called as IAM users. So right now I'm logged in with root user. Under your root user, you are creating IAM users, like branches you are going to create on your user.
Okay.
Okay, you're not going to create a new Azure account. You have only one single Azure account. And under that, you are going to create their branches. We can call it IAM users.
Okay.
Okay, how to create users, we'll learn in upcoming session.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like it can be same or it can be different. The resource, I mean, like the subscription name.
It will be the same, Shiva. But it will be the same. If you want to only give that subscription access to some other person, you can assign your IAM users also. That is also possible.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Shivaram.
Yeah. So this public API is static or dynamic? So
Static. By default in Azure, we are always getting the static public IP. And
So
it
as
is
far
no
as
additional charges for that.
okay, as far as I am using this VM, the same IP will be continued. Is that right?
Correct. If you stop your IP and start your IP address is not going to be changed.
Okay.
Earlier, we are getting it dynamic, but now we are only getting a static address.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. The question Shiva has asked, I'll explain you what he has asked. We have two types of IP addresses. One is called dynamic IP address. Other one is called static IP address. Static is also called as elastic IP address. Now, what is dynamic IP address? Dynamic IP address means if I stop my machine, right now, let's say I have this particular virtual machine. If I stop this machine, like shut down this particular machine, and then if I start again, what happens? System will change your IP address. If system will change your IP address, it means that time we are using dynamic IP address. But if you stop your machine and start your machine, your IP address will not get changed. It means you are using static IP address. In Azure, we are getting by default static IP address. It means if you stop your machine and start your machine, your IP address is not going to change by the system. Any question anyone have regarding this? Yes, Narendra.
Where you are defining this?
We are not defining by default, we are getting now static IP. Public
No.
IP, which I am getting. It's public IP. This is static one. By default, we are getting it. Earlier, what happened? By default, we are getting this dynamic IP, but sorry, static dynamic we are getting, but now by default, we are getting the static IP. We don't need to define anywhere now. Okay, Narendra?
Yeah, if you get this down also, when we restart, it will get the same IP then.
Same IP address you will get because it is a static IP address.
Yeah, but IP should be charged, right? So how?
They are not charging. Azure is not charging for IP addresses because IP address is linked. So it is whenever you delete your virtual machine, automatically your IP address will also going to be deleted. So they are not going to charge for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have created our Windows machine. Now we need to check with the Linux option. We can create our Linux machine by using two options. When we are creating our Linux machine, we have two options to generate password. One is called password option. Other one is called SSH option. In today's session, first I'll show you with password option. Then in tomorrow's session, I'm going to show you with SSH option. So let me just a minute. I'll change the sequence. I'm going to show you the password option. So again, I'm going to virtual machine. Click on create. Here we need to select our resource group. I'm selecting the same resource group, group 135. Give the name of our virtual machine. I'm giving VM Linux. Region, by default, we are getting a Central India. Now here we need to select our own image as Ubuntu one. And here I'm good. Ubuntu server 20.04. So I'm selecting which operating system? Ubuntu operating system. And by default, we are getting the size as B1s. Now here we are getting those two options to connect to our sheet. One is called as SSH public key, other one is called as password. In tomorrow's session, I'm going to show you this SSH key option. In today's session, I'm going to show you the password option. So go with password. Enter your username. Again, using username as Azure user. Password. Now, just few minutes before we have discussed it, to connect to our Windows machine, we need to enable a port number RDP. And to connect to our Linux machine, we need to select a port number called SSH. Anyone in the chat box, let me know what is the number for SSH port number. I got the correct answers very quickly. The correct answer is 22. 22 is the port number for SSH. Scroll down. See, by default, they are enabling our port number SSH. So for this particular machine, whatever the things we require, we have selected. We got CPU, RAM, we got operating system as Linux. Now go to next. Under this, they are automatically creating our OS disk and how much default size they are giving us. Key. For Linux, we are getting 30 GB. For Windows, they are providing us 127 GB. If you want to increase the size, you can increase the size also. How to increase the size, we'll discuss in upcoming session. But right now, we are only getting the C drive. If you want to add D drive, can we add that? Yes, that is also possible. We'll discuss in upcoming session that particular point. And other than these tabs, I don't need to work on any of the tab. So I'm just going to directly click on Review Plus. We are validating. Time. Validation passed. Now click on. So we are creating our virtual machine. And we are creating our virtual machine in the same resource group. Like few minutes before I said, in single resource group, you can create different resources. Even you can create different virtual machines. Also, it can be Windows or Linux, you can create that. Now, once our machine get ready, what we need to do? We need to download one tool to connect to this particular virtual machine. Like for Windows, we have used remote desktop connection. For Linux, also we need some tool to connect to that particular machine. Which tool we require? That tools are called as terminals. In market, there are hundreds of terminals we have. But which one I'm going to use? I'm going to use a terminal called if you just search on Google, download Putty. On the second number website, the one which you are able to see here, from there you can download this particular tool. It's a completely free. I'm sharing this link in the chat box also. Scroll down. Here you are able to see putty.exe. So as per your system configuration, just click on putty.exe. System is going to download a particular exe file. So I'm going to store that exe file in our company. So we just only require this particular tool putty.exe to connect to our Linux machine with password. Done. Now again, we need to copy the public IP of our machine. So go to resource. And now I am under my virtual machine. If you see here, here is this public. So again, I'm noting down the public IP. Open Putty. 35. Double click on Putty. Here we are able to see our Putty. If you see in the top, it is saying enter hostname or IP address. So we are going to enter our IP address. Click on open. Click on accept. Enter your user. Enter your password. And we are able to connect to our Linux virtual machine. Like in Windows, we are able to see the temporary storage. Can we see the temporary storage in Linux also? Yes, just use a command called df-h. Here you are able to see whatever the disks are mounted with your Linux machine. You can see that, and here is the temporary storage we are able to see. So if you want to see the temporary store, whatever the storage are mounted with your machine, we need to use a command called df-h. So we are able to see our 3GB also, we are able to see our 4GB. And don't worry, these are the temporary storage which system is creating by default. Don't worry about those. These are the one which is mounted with our. So this is how you can create your Linux virtual machine with password option, and you can connect to it. Any question anyone have regarding this, you can please let me know. Yes, sir. Sam, you have raised your hand. Satish, you can unmute.
Hello, Ankit. Sometime back, I have created an account for subscription free. Okay, so I didn't use that account for long period. Now I created a new user ID and I'm trying to do the activity, but it says you are not eligible. You have to go as per pay.
You are using the same personal details, because if you are using the same
Yeah, correct.
personal detail, definitely Azure is going to capture, and they are not again providing you the free tier details. The first 30 days quota they are not providing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Account I can use the different and card, the credit card, we can use the same, right?
You can't use any of the same details.
Oh.
If you use any of the same details, they're definitely identified. Okay.
Okay. Good.
Anyone have any more questions? Yes, Shiva.
Yeah, we are accessing through Putty as well, the remote desktop, that's fine. So do you have any option to check in the portal itself console, like console access, anything?
Here we have console access also. You can go to disk, and here you can see the disk which we are getting as 30 GB. Here we are getting, and here we are able to see the size also.
No, I'm asking the entire console, like RDB here itself.
You are talking about graphical user interface for
Yeah.
Linux machine.
No,
That's not
for
possible.
Windows, for Windows, no, for Windows.
For Windows, you can connect by using RDP.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of, for example, I have multiple VMs in this case. So every time when I'm doing management, so I not go for RDP, right? So do you have any console here like VMware or like
You want to connect your Windows machine by using this portal?
Yeah.
Azure portal?
Yeah,
Right.
portal is that possible? Console.
That can be possible. That can be possible by using Cloud Shell also. Here we have Cloud Shell in the top. With the help of this one, you can connect by using PowerShell. You can connect your machine. That can be possible. Or the other option we have it is Bastion. Bastion one is used only for private machines, not for public machines. We are not using. We'll learn in upcoming session about Bastion also, but Bastion is only for private machines.
Okay, through the PowerShell only we can able to access, right, from here.
Yes.
There is no graphical interface.
No. The only one now we have it that is called as Bastion, but Bastion is for private machines, not for public machines.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone have any more questions? Yes, Sam. Sam, do you have any question? Because you are raising your hand or lowering down your hand.
Not sure. Yeah, Angit. Yeah, actually, we are like always like discussing about the virtual machine, right? So, do we have any types in virtual machine selection, or is it default everyone should get it as it is?
No, I didn't understand your question. The only thing is that the main thing is size.
No, not size. Virtual machine types.
Which type of virtual machines you are trying to create?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do we have any virtual machine type selection, or automatically only one type will provide?
We have virtual machine. We have one service called VM Skillset. With the help of this, it automatically creating our virtual machine. We have that particular service.
But we don't have any types of virtual machines, right?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Because the process, like if some business users are like an organization, so the selection should be everyone is a common this virtual machine selection.
You can use, that's what I'm saying, you can use a bigger size. I'm just for practice purpose giving you 1 GB, 1 CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and definitely in real time that is not sufficient.
No, not 1 GB. Maybe high-end or something. They classify.
You have an option. You can see in the below. We have shown you. There are a lot of series we are getting. E, D, S. We are getting series. You can go to size option. You can see here also. See. Here we have the series. You can go with a bigger one also. Okay. Sam, is it clear?
Yeah, okay, fine. Yep.
Yes, Narendra.
In the same server, if you have a multiple users, so how you're going to be in the next
session? We can create users in our virtual machine also, and we'll learn in upcoming session how we can create users in Linux virtual machine.
Okay, in Linux and Windows as well.
Linux only I'm going to show you.
Okay, even in Windows also we can.
It can be possible in Windows also we can create, but I don't know how to do that because in real time I'm not working on Windows one. I'm working only on Linux one.
Okay.
Okay.
In the same machine, right? In the same
Yes, in the
machine.
same machine. In the same machine.
Okay, but the thing is, like, everyone cannot get this root access, right? So how you define it?
That one be Linux administrators can provide the access to them. So for that one, you need to learn Linux admin training.
Okay.
How to
But
provide
in
this.
one-
I'll show you how to create users, but the permission is a part of the Linux admin person.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Satish.
So now we have created a virtual machine with a smaller size, right? Disks. So suppose the customer comes and says, I need more size. So can we change that
Yes.
thing from now B2 to D2, E2 like that?
Whatever size your client wants to change, it can be possible. We learn in upcoming session. That also. It's a very important topic which you're asking me right now.
And in VMs earlier days, we were having a customized option. Only memory needs to be increased. We don't want CPU. Here we have to do the expansion both at a time, right? CPU
Yes,
and memory
correct.
together.
We don't have any option nowadays that we can select separate. It's a combination. We always need to go with combination.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have any more questions? Now make sure after your practice, what we are going to do is you're going to delete your resource group. Because what we need to do is we need to delete this virtual machine because I don't need to use this virtual machine anymore. So I need to delete this virtual machine, and with virtual machine, whatever the other resources we have created, we need to delete those also. The one option is you can do one by one. You can select that particular virtual machine and then click on delete, or go with one by one to that particular resource and then delete like this. Right, I'm deleting a virtual machine. The other way is, for your practice purpose, if you delete this particular resource group, and under this resource group, whatever the resources you have, total 11 resources, system is going to delete all the 11 resources. System is going to. So for this, I'm going to copy the name of my resource group, delete resource group, and enter the name of our resource group and click on. And make sure till that time your source group is not going to delete. You are not going to close your browser. Your browser needs to open till that time. It is not going to. And whenever we are creating our virtual machine, system is automatically creating one more resource group with the name called Network Watcher RG. What is this? We have a separate service called Network Watcher in Azure that we'll learn in upcoming session. That time you will understand what is the use of Network Watcher. So make sure you are also going to delete this particular resource group also after your. So this is what we have for the today's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll continue with our same topic. Here we are going to learn about how we can create our Linux machine by using SSH key. And then we'll start with our other option called Linux. So we are going to learn about some of the basic Linux forms. Any question anyone have? Please let me know. Okay, so with this, I'm ending this session. We'll continue with other topics in tomorrow's session. Thank you all. Thank you for joining the today's session. See you tomorrow.